Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. We got this breaking news situation that's coming out of India. You know, we've been covering a lot of these plane crashes that have been going on as of late. It's been very weird, y'all. I'm going to be completely real. It has been a wild while. It's been a wild while, long story short. And now we got something that's really, really sad here. And we got to get into this conversation. This is a very, very short, very fast breaking news video. But I wanted to give this to you guys live really quick before we go live in a little bit, because we got a long show for you guys covering the Diddy trial. But we still are covering things and following things that are going on throughout the rest of the world, okay? And this is a situation that is just very, very sad. So just hop on in here, hit that like button down below. Of course, don't forget to hit that follow button on those other platforms. If you're watching over there, don't forget to subscribe here on my channel, here on my YouTube channel. Check out my second channel, please, and thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. All right, hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out pascalmerch.com. You can get stuff like this on pascalmerch.com. All right. Okay, guys, we got to get straight into this. Unfortunately, this is a very, very sad situation. And of course, I just wanted to break this to you guys really, really quick. Because again, this is just devastating information. About 242 people. Yeah, that's what I said. About 242 people have lost their lives. And I'm sure the number is growing due to this plane crash that happened in India. This plane was taking off there. Its final destination was to London, and out of nowhere, this plane it took off, but it didn't take off, if that makes any sense. So of course, you know, we're going to look at the footage right now. We're going to get straight into this. I know this is some kind of cup of coffee to wake up to, right? This is really something to wake up to in the morning, but this is some really, really sad and devastating information. So we're going to take a look at this. This is the video, or a video of this plane taking off and then falling back down, which is obviously terrible. Let's take a look. Now, just so you guys know, this plane actually crashed into like a residential area. Okay, so that's why they're saying the numbers are subject to change, are subject to climb, because the plane had a certain amount of people on there, but then of course there are also people in buildings, etc., that just lost their lives because this plane just basically fell from the sky. Now, we've clearly have seen this kind of situation a multitude of times. We have seen this a bunch, right? We've seen situations like this over the past couple months where planes, I mean, there's been mid-air collisions. There's also been another plane, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, it happened in India as well, where a plane took off and just fell. It just went up in the air and just went boom like that, right? I could have sworn that happened like maybe 2 years ago, and I think it was in India as well. But nonetheless, this is some very, very sad stuff. I'm going to play it again, and I'll probably play it before we end this stream here. But nonetheless, this is obviously very, very sad, very, very crazy, and very, very just scary in general. Many reasons why I myself am not the biggest fan of flying. If I got to do it, I'll do it. But at the same time, the reasons why I get scared about flying is because of moments for sure like this. And I can only say to the people, to all the victims, to all the families that are affected by this situation, I have to send out my prayers healing vibrations and all that, because this is just very, very devastating and extremely sad. So one more time, and then we're going to get into the information. Nonetheless, this is very sad, okay? And this is really what's going on, okay? But of course, this number is subject to change, subject to climb, because it landed in a residential area. If I have the information correctly, okay? So the Ahmed Ahmedabad police commissioner says there appears to be no survivors on flight AI 171, with passengers including 169 Indians, 53 Britons, 7 Portuguese, and 1 Canadian. Okay, this was a London-bound Air India plane. Okay, with 242 people on board. Okay, of course they're still trying to figure out everything. Totally understandable. This is devastating news. Okay, this is absolutely devastating news, and of course we're all wanting to know what was the cause of the crash. Why did this happen the way it happened, right? And I hopefully they're going to have an answer before the end of day, right? But they're saying no survivors in the London-bound plane that took the lives, of course, that crashed and burst into flames in India, that took the lives of 242 passengers. And of course, that number is still pending because, as you saw, I mean, it crashed into a building. You can see right there, right? Which is, or at least a part of the plane is here in a building. And God only knows who was in this house, okay, or who was in this particular building when the plane went down, okay? So let's continue on. All right, so let's get into the news. So the Ahmedabad police, okay, they, of course, this article reached out, okay, this news article or this news source reached out to the Ahmedabad police for further comment, but they did not immediately receive a response. Okay, so the director general of the civil aviation earlier told Associated Press that the jet crashed into a residential area. Okay, 5 minutes after taking off at 1:38 p.m. local time. Okay, sorry guys, I'm still waking up and getting all the cobwebs out of my brain right now. Still haven't had my full cup of coffee yet, so just bear with me here, guys. Okay, so Air India confirmed in a post on X that there were 242 passengers and crew on board that actual plane, which was headed to London. All right. The passengers included 169 people from India, 53 from UK, 1 from Canada, and 7 from Portugal. So an aviation official said there were 12 crew. The cause of the crash is not yet known. In their update on X, Air India said the plane was involved in an accident, quote unquote, and the injured were being taken to the nearest hospitals. The airline also shared that a passenger hotline has been created to provide further information. And obviously, you're going to want to call in to find out, of course, I'm sure this hotline is created just so that people can call in just to make sure that their loved one, if they were on the plane or not, right? I'm sure that that's why they created that hotline, right? So Air India is giving its full cooperation to the authorities in investigation in this incident. So they're following the incident. King Charles shared his own shock with about the crash. Says, my wife and I have been desperately shocked by the terrible events in Ahmedabad this morning. Our special prayers and deepest possible sympathy are with the families and friends of all those affected by this appalling, tragic incident across so many nations as we await news of their loved ones. And I mean, like I said, we are still trying to figure out, or they are still trying to figure out, why this whole thing went down in the first place. Okay. I would like to pay a particular tribute to the heroic efforts of the emergency services and all those providing help and support at this most heartbreaking and traumatic time. So the India's health minister, Nada, okay, previously said that many people lost their lives in this crash. All right. And this is the first ever crash being involving a Boeing 787 aircraft. So this is the first ever crash that has happened, or that this is the first ever craft. I can't talk today. I'm sorry, guys. Still trying to wake up. But this is the first ever crash of a Boeing 787 aircraft ever, which is absolutely insane. Okay? Absolutely insane. Medusa, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But nonetheless, this is some very scary and very wild information. Okay? This is very sad, to say the least. This is very, very sad. We got more information we're going to get into here right quick. I'm going to take a look at this video. I shared this on Discord this morning, and yeah, still just shocked. Woke up this morning, barely any sleep, and I saw this and I was like, oh my Lord. Well, we got to talk about it. We got to bring awareness to this and talk about it. We talk about everything, a lot of things on this channel. Okay. We don't just talk about Diddy. Okay. But this is something that's important as well. So of course, had to stop everything I was doing, come in here and break this news to you guys. Okay. So if you can hit that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. And this is just very sad information, guys.
Straight to a Fox News alert. An Air India plane with 244 people on board bound for London Gatwick Airport crashing shortly after takeoff into a residential area in India. A huge plume of thick black smoke you can see filling the sky.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this for the first time, too. The aircraft is a Boeing 787 and received the last signal just seconds after takeoff at 625 feet. According to flight radar, that is, India's aviation ministry also says the nation is on the highest alert and rescue teams have been mobilized.
So this is what we know. All flights are currently suspended at that airport in India until further notice. There is no word on any casualties yet, and the airline says that they will share more details when they are available. Britain is working with Indian authorities to urgently establish the facts.
Yeah, and it looks so another issue will be where it crashed, in a residential neighborhood. And that's, you wonder what's happening, people in their homes. Almost like Lockerbie, there were people that were hurt as the plane exploded in midair.
All right, let's bring in Mike Boyd. He's an aviation consultant. Mike, thanks for getting up this morning. I know this just happened. You probably don't know more than what we just talked about. But have you heard about any fatalities? And what do you think went wrong? Another problem for Boeing?
Well, it is. It's the first 787 fatal crash in history. That's going to make Boeing not too happy. But you're just looking at the pictures that are there, and you got as much as I do. It looks like the airplane took off, lost power, and went down. There are other videos coming out, and it's confused, where they show survivors. So maybe there's good news here. But the real issue now is what caused this airplane to go down, and everything is speculation. The only thing we know for sure is it did go down. And the question is, what is Boeing going to be doing? Believe me, they'll be all over, because up till now, this airplane is at a spotless safety record.
So, Mike, for what we know on most of the crashes that happen, we later found out that most of them happen because of human error. I know you don't know a lot about this crash. We're still learning this. It's a very fluid situation. But what is the first thing that comes to mind now when you see a crash like this that could have happened?
Well, when we see the video of an airplane obviously on takeoff and then slowly going down, the first thing, they lost power, obviously, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that comes up is, you mentioned human error. Everything is human error. These things are made by the hand of man. So something must have happened like that. And we don't know, but we'll know going forward. The real issue is Boeing will be all over this. The NTSB will be all over it. The Indian authorities will be all over it. Because up till now, again, it's been an incredibly safe airplane. So they'll be looking at the human factors as well.
Right. You got to worry about people on the ground as well as the people on the jet. The Indian Air Force and Army are engaged in rescue operations. That's what you're seeing on the left side of your screen. Mike, I'd like to bring you to something facts we do know. We always say 30,000 feet is where a jet wants to go. This jet got as high as 625 feet. And according to eyewitnesses, if they pan out to be correct, it ended up going immediately vertically right into the ground. If you can visualize in your mind taking off, getting to 625, and then going straight down to the ground, is that intentional? Is that one of the things that pops to your mind?
It could be. The one video I saw, we're all well informed here, but the one video I saw simply showed the airplane sort of gradually going down and then out of sight. So it might have nosed down after that. But, the first thing you think of, it lost power somehow. But again, that's all speculation right now. And again, it's likely something to do mechanically with the airplane. Any other thing could be in there.
Right.
But
Can I ask you, Mike, if it did lose power, wouldn't it glide?
That's a good question.
Yeah, but they're not going very fast to start with, and it did glide. It glided at a point of impact.
So, Mike.
Yeah, it almost seems like if it was to glide, that doesn't automatically mean that they're in the clear. Gliding can only do so much, but if their landing gear doesn't come out, then yeah, you're in a devastating situation for sure. And then also, let's not forget, even if the landing gear does come out and they're gliding down, but they're gliding into buildings, that's also a bad situation. Like you really want a open area, like an open field or something of that sort, right? To land, even if you had to land on the belly of the plane, right? You want that instead of like just buildings in front of you, right? So no matter what, even if even if this stuff was deployed, even if the landing gear was out, it still would have been a devastating situation for them, no matter what. Which is, like I said, just this is terrible, y'all. This is absolutely terrible. Okay, but we're gonna continue though. Let's get it.
For pilots, do they try to? I mean, I would imagine they would try to avoid, if they are crashing, into buildings, into residential areas where other people on the ground could be affected. Does a pilot have any control over that?
Probably not in India. Probably not at this airport, which is an airport tightly surrounded by population. I mean, wherever he was going to go down, people were going to be there probably in this city.
Mike, forgive my ignorance, but what could cause a plane to lose power so fast after takeoff?
Probably about 1,000 different things.
Really? Okay.
Contaminated fuel, lack of fuel, a mechanical problem that caused
lack of fuel. Like that would be weird if the plane didn't have fuel. That would be insane. But let's continue.
One engine or two engines to lose power. There are 1,000 things that could cause that to happen. So it's really speculative right now, but it's not a simple issue. It could be a combination of things that happen and cause the chain reaction. But we'll know before long. But again, we don't have much time to talk about it. It wasn't in the air very long.
787 Dreamliner. It's a Boeing plane. Now, when you buy a Boeing plane, whether you're Delta, United, Air France, when does it become the responsibility? When do these different airlines put their stamp on that plane? So I'm Boeing and I sell it to you, but it's up to Air India to maintain it, number one. And maybe some different countries or different airlines decide to put their own emblem, their own rules and regulations to it, correct?
Yeah, that's true, but they're all approved. And the Indian, your transportation system is a Wild West marketing wise, but in terms of safety, that's always been there. But the airline's imprint on that airplane is basically when they order the thing, because they're working with Boeing on how to spec it out. So Air India has been with this airplane probably since they signed the order document. So from that perspective, I don't think we have to look at maybe India being sloppy. As a matter of fact, India is not sloppy.
So, Mike, what happens next in the investigation?
Well, right now, it's going to be happening. There's a lot of talk like this, what happened? But under the scenes, I'm pretty sure the U.S. NTSB will get involved. Those people are magicians, can find out all kinds of things. And let's remember, it wasn't in the air very long. They say there was a Mayday call, which I would find surprising on takeoff like that, but maybe there was. And you got cockpit voice recorders, and you've got other recorded documents on or machinery inside that airplane. We're going to know fairly soon, but they're not going to announce it to you and I until they're really sure about it. But I'm confident the NTSB is on an airplane right now heading there.
Mike, can you explain?
I'm sure that they are.
Said that there's some reports of there was a Mayday call, and you said you would find that strange. Why would you find that strange?
Because at that point in time, takeoff, the airplane, the pilots have their hands full of airplane on any takeoff like that. And, to make a Mayday call, it's possible, no question about it. But, they were probably busy with a whole lot of other things trying to figure out what is wrong with this airplane.
I mean, they're going to be trying to figure out as much as they can, I'm sure, just to be like, hey, what the heck is going on? Why is this going on? Why did this go down the way it went down? I mean, I could see all of that, all of that, all those kind of questions, of course, getting answered at some point. But nonetheless, I mean, it is a very, sorry, computer's tripping. This is all just very, very sad information. I'm going over to the BBC though, see what's going on over here, see what they got popping off here as well. Let's take a look and get some news with accents behind it.
International airport crashed shortly after takeoff. Video on social media shows black plumes of smoke billowing. It appears to have crashed in a residential area. And I just want to bring you a bit more of what we had from our correspondent in India. And this is reports coming in from Ahmedabad International Airport in Gujarat, saying that an Air India flight taking off from the international airports there crashed shortly after takeoff. There's video on social media of that crash at the moment, and it shows black fumes billowing into the skies. And our correspondent goes on to say it appears that the plane crashed in a residential area. And of course, we're still trying to get information on the ground about this particular crash, the number of people who are likely involved in that crash as well. But this is a significant development coming in from Ahmedabad in Gujarat in India. And I think you can see the maps at the moment on our screens of that particular location of the airport there. And this is Ahmedabad in Gujarat. And so reports at the moment coming in of an Air India flight that has crashed shortly after takeoff. And we're, of course, trying to get as much information as we can about what's going on there in Ahmedabad. And we'll bring you.
Now, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit just to see what else they're going to say here. Let's go here.
Yes. So, and this is that post there, which I was just reading out. And of course, showing that the statement from Air India, I'll just read it out to you again, coming in from a spokesperson there, confirming that this flight, AI 171, was traveling from Ahmedabad and headed to London Gatwick, confirming that it was involved in an incident. And at the moment, they are ascertaining the details and will share further updates at the earliest opportunity. And I just want to bring you an update there. Now coming in from the Reuters news agency. The police.
We're going to continue on. Now we do have one, okay, from BBC here as well, which was about 20 minutes ago.
And you are watching BBC News. I'm Anita McVeigh. We are going to continue now with our coverage of this tragic air crash in India, in Western India, the state of Gujarat, just moments after takeoff from Ahmedabad airport. It was bound for London Gatwick and had been due to arrive there after 6 p.m. local time today. So let's bring you right up to date with what we know about this. This passenger plane was, as I mentioned, en route from Ahmedabad in the west of India to London Gatwick and crashed shortly after takeoff. It was operated by Air India with a flight code AI-171. India's Civil Aviation Authority says 242 passengers and crew were on board. Well, we want to show you now some footage which shows the plane, we understand, still to be verified, as it was coming down in the center of Ahmedabad city very shortly after takeoff. Let me just tell you, actually, I've just heard that this footage.
Okay, so we've already seen the footage a bunch of times, but let's see if there's more.
And these pictures showing that huge fireball as the plane crashed just at the crash site. And I spoke to him a short time ago.
So the plane crashed in an area called the New Mental Campus. It is also known as the Inspector General Campus. This plane crashed on a building where the doctors, this residential doctors, were living. It is feared that more than very large number of doctors were there at their house when this plane crashed. So right now, we don't know anything about how many people were there in the building when plane crashed. But certainly when we talk to the people over here, the eyewitnesses and the people living around, they said that this was a building where the intern doctor working in the nearby Ahmedabad Civil Hospital used to live here. So the damage, it seems, to the people living in that building is big.
And are fires still burning in that area, or have fire crews managed to bring those under control?
Yes, the fire are still, as you can hear the sound of the fire vehicles, this firefighting vehicles, they are constantly moving from one place to other. They are trying to, those of the fire since last 2 hours, but still the fire is going on. We saw some bulldozers being bought right now to remove the scrap so that the people who have died in this accident, their bodies can be taken out because with the help of this bulldozer. The scrap, it seems, is very large in amount because some walls, trees, and other structure has fallen down because of this crash. Media is not allowed to go near the site right now, but when we reached here, we saw that even the wing of a plane was after the crash, the wing of the plane was kept. We were able to see that wing on the road over here.
Roxy, we've been reporting that the plane crashed just beyond the airport perimeter. Give us a sense, if you would, of the geography of this area. How populated is it? How close is the point where you're standing to the actual airport and to the runways?
So we are at the one side of the runway. This is the Meghani Nagar area. This Meghani Nagar area is very it's a densely populated area. Many residential houses are here. The site of the accident, the place where plane crashed, even a multi-story residential building is very near to that place. The the site of the accident right now is a place where the government officials, especially the medical staff, were living. The entire area is very densely populated. It's when we talk to some people, there were some people living in huts near the main gate of the campus, and even those people, the houses which were there, even those people might have died. That's what the local residents fear. So, the area is quite densely populated, and the number of deaths because of this crash of the people living in the area is yet to be identified.
And from where you're standing, Roxy, approximately how far is it to the place where the plane crashed?
So it's hardly 200 meters away from the place where I am standing right now. This road, this road which you can see here, this road to the site of the accident, and uh, the firefighting vehicles are right now kept over there, and even it has been also said that the chief minister, the government head of the Gujarat state, he is likely to visit this place very soon.
And in terms of what's happening inside the airport, Roxy, and what the authorities there are saying, bring us up to date.
So the authorities,
Look at that plane sticking out
we
the
are yet
end.
to hear about the
Crazy.
exact numbers of deaths, but the total number of passengers in the plane were 242.
Hold on. Now, I am seeing something about someone actually surviving this plane crash, but I don't know if it's entirely true. I looked it up. I'm going to be pulling that up here in a second just so we can look at it. But I say let's take that with a grain of salt because there's all kinds of, people are quick to put out false information all the time, especially these websites. You just never know. So like I said, I'm going to say that now. Fair warning. We're going to take it with a grain of salt, but apparently they're saying that they have at least one, survivor. But I don't think anybody could survive this, but I could, we could be wrong, right? So 1 second, okay? Let me just let him finish this piece and we're going to go over to that, okay? Because, I will be wrapping up this live fairly soon because we got another live coming up here shortly. And I will give you guys a heads up. I'm probably going to push that live another half hour. Just so I can take care of a few things because obviously I hopped on here to do this quick breaking news live with you guys. So I'm probably going to push it for like another 30 minutes before we're live now it's going to be more like 10:30 a.m. instead of 10 o'clock, just so you guys know. But let's continue.
That's what the authorities have said. And right now, we don't know how many people have been saved out of this, but most of the people, what we see over here from the location, have died in the crash.
And we can only imagine that there must be some incredibly worried, distraught relatives gathering at the airport for news.
Yes. And that's why they have a hotline that has been created. So hopefully the people, of course, understandably, all the concerned families and friends, I'm sure are all trying to find out, information about their loved ones. Clearly they're saying that there are reports right now that are saying that there are no survivors. But according to the Times of India, they're saying there's been one survivor. Now, I'm going to say this really quick. I'm going to preface this, like I said a second ago. Take this with a grain of salt. Don't know if this is actually true or not, because people will say some crazy stuff. Remember the crash that happened, the Black Hawk and the airline collision that happened in Washington, D.C. They were saying that there were survivors there too. There was a crazy rumor that was spreading like crazy, saying that there was a survivor there as well. There were no survivors, okay? And I don't know if there would be a survivor on something this fiery and this devastating, but God only knows. So take this with a grain of salt, just a heads up, okay? But hold on. What? Sorry. Wait, what? What's going on? Hold on. Hold on. I don't know where that comment is. I don't know where that comment is, Pierrette. But if you find it, can you copy, paste it, and repost it? Because I don't see anything about. I don't see where this comment about Jane Doe is missing, and dirty is surrounded by his lawyers. I think you're saying Diddy is surrounded by his lawyers and something's going on in the courtroom. Say what? Say what? Wait. We're going to talk about that. Hold on. Give me a second. But if that's true, can you copy and paste that? Okay. Yeah, that survivor could also be somebody from the buildings or the street as well, but they're saying that this is from seat 11A on the aircraft. But like I said, we got to take that with a grain of salt. All right. Yeah, hamburger indeed, if that's the case. But that's not what we're here for. Okay. Trust me, I'm going to be live. I'm going to look into that. We're going to talk about that when we get live. Okay. I promise you. But that's insane. All right. Like I said, I'm trying to get off of the show now so I get enough time to get ready for the live at 10, but I'm going to push it most likely to about probably like 10:15, 10:30, so I can just get a few things ready before we go live, because it's a long show. It's a long stream. Okay. But now they're saying, okay, again, like I said, they're saying that this plane crash, someone survived. And I say, take this with a grain of salt. Okay. So they said, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Crash shortly after takeoff, which we already know. We already know the amount of people. There's 242 people that were on there. 230 were passengers. The remaining 12 were actually crew members. A Mayday call was issued before contact was lost. So the tragedy, of course, has stunned and saddened us. It is heartbreaking beyond words, which is what the Prime Minister Modi, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, said in a post. But I don't know where is it saying a survivor. Okay, here it is. So one survivor found on seat 11A of aircraft, says top cop. So police found one survivor in seat 11A. One survivor has been found in the hospital and is under treatment. Cannot say anything about the numbers of people who have passed away yet. The toll may increase, which we already talked about, because we already know that they say 242. Okay, 242 people lost their lives on the plane alone. So again, if this is 110% true, it would be 241 people lost their lives on this plane, and there is one survivor, unless that person survived and then passed away in the hospital, which is possible as well. Okay. I mean, something this traumatic to the body, I don't know if anybody can survive something like that. Okay. Which is absolutely terrifying and sad as well. Okay. But guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to wrap up the show. We do have other shows. We have another big show coming up here in just a little bit. Okay. I may be a tad bit late. I'm going to try to be there a little bit, about 10, 15 minutes. In fact, I'm going to probably change the time on the post I have, just so you guys know. Okay. But again, this is some very, very devastating news. If there is a survivor, hopefully that particular person heals and fights through this, because again, trauma like this to the body in surviving that is insane, is a miracle. So we'll see what happens here, because this was a fiery mess. Okay. They named the survivor. It didn't say anything about his name in here, but I'm looking. Yeah, they didn't name his name in this article, but maybe it's real. And if that is real, I hope that that person gets through this. Okay. So just so you guys know, my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that is affected by this situation, because this goes worldwide, right? This goes beyond just India. Okay. There were other people from other parts of the world on that plane as well. So this is a devastating situation. And like I said, my heart goes out to them. My prayers go out to all the families and the victims of this situation. Hopefully everybody will find time to heal, and RIP to all of them. But that is the show. I'll be back on in just a short while. Okay. So be on the lookout. We got things to talk about. We got things to do. And apparently some things are popping off in the Diddy trial. So we're going to be on very, very shortly. So get ready. Okay. If there's any new information, okay, I'll let you guys know about that information. And Kimberly, thank you so much. You can find stuff like this on PascalMerch.com. I made this myself. Okay. These are all custom tie-dyed hoodies made by yours truly. Okay. But please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button, please and thank you. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. Hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. Hit that join button down below, okay? I'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that join button down below. Become a member of the family. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. I guarantee you're going to find something you're going to love over there. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. I'll see you guys in a very, very short while. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.